Hello everyone, I am Himanshu Mishra and I am the PhD scholar in the Department of Applied Mechanics, IIT Madras. And my talk is on study on translation and orientation dynamics of an anisotropic particle in a surface gravity waves. So anisotropic particles are abundant in nature. For example, in a top left figure, I am showing the various kinds of microplastics that are floating across the ocean. In the top right figure, I am showing the zooplanktons, which are commonly found in water bodies and are approximated as an anisotropic particle. In the bottom left figure, I am showing the ice crystals, which resemble as a rod, and when these ice crystals attain some specific angle, it results into a phenomena which I am showing in the bottom right figure, in which three halos of sun are created across the sky. So this happens when the ice crystals attain some specific orientation and it changes the reflectivity of the light. So here I classify the different oceanic matter based on their density ratio and the size. So in the bottom I am showing the phytoplanktons, which are mostly found in aquatic water bodies, and they are typically lighter than water and are smaller in size. Moreover, zooplanktons, which are heavier than water and they are more larger in size comparatively. Microplastics on the other end can be lighter and heavier than the water, and the size ranges from 1 micrometer to 1 millimeter. So from all this animation, we can see that the particle found in nature can be lighter than or the heavier than the surrounding fluid, and most of these particles are random in shape. That's why assuming them as an spherical particle is a poor choice of an approximation. So we have two non-dimensional parameter. So first is the Brotherton constant, which measures the anisotropy of the particle. So if the value of B is from 0 to 1, it indicates prolate particle, and if the range of B is from -1 to 0, it indicates an oblate particle. Similarly, other dimensionless parameter is settling number, which is a non-dimensional settling velocity of a heavier particle. So here the settling number can be defined as a ratio of settling velocity and the phase speed of the background of the wave. So here I consider the wavy flow field, and I place the spherical particle which is neutrally buoyant, which means the density of a particle matches with the density of a surrounding fluid, and the velocity of a particle is a sinusoidal function of space and time, and it is a one-dimensional non-autonomous equation. And we have a two time scale. One is the fast time scale, which is induced due to the wave induced oscillation, and the slow time scale, which is due to the wave average time, which is indicated by capital T. And then we use the standard multiple scale expansion to capture the dynamics at both time scale. So at fast time scale, particle translate in a horizontal direction in an oscillatory manner, which can be seen from this black curve. To capture the dynamics at the slower scale, we go to the higher order and we derive the velocity of a wave average velocity of a particle, which is a Stokes drift velocity, and it is a function of small parameter only. And when we integrate this velocity over the time, we will get the wave average horizontal translation of a particle, which is shown by this blue curve. So in two-dimensional case, this Stokes drift velocity is a function of depth also, which means that one can see from this animation that the particle at the surface has higher drift velocity than the particle beneath the depth, because the Stokes drift velocity decays with the depth. Meanwhile, DiBenedetto et al. Study the orientation dynamics of an anisotropic particle in a similar flow field, and they calculated the orientation of a particle. So they found that the orientation increases with time in an oscillatory manner, and after some time it attains the preferential alignment or the steady angle, which they called as a preferential alignment. And they found the preferential alignment for different shape of the particle here. So by using the multiple scale analysis, we can find the rate of change of wave average orientation, and from this equation we can find the two fixed point, phi PR and phi OB, and this fixed point can able to capture this preferential alignment. So for a prolate particle, phi PR is a stable fixed point and phi OB is an unstable fixed point. But for an oblate particle, phi OB is a stable fixed point and able to capture the preferential alignment when capital B is negative. So in reality, the translation and orientation are the coupled problems, which means that as the particle translate along the wave propagation direction via Stokes drift, the orientation of a particle also changes in an oscillatory manner. So here we can see in this video that the orientation is also changing very slowly from the vertical axis here. and after some time the particle will attain the preferential alignment, which is given by the fixed point and is depend only on the Butterton constant of a particle. So here we analyze the motion of a particle due to wave as well as the gravity. So in first case we consider the sphere in a wavy flow field, and in this case the sphere will drift along the wave propagation direction. Then we place the anisotropic particle in a wave field, and here the drift will also become a function of orientation, which means that if you change the initial orientation of a particle, the wave average horizontal translation of a particle will also get changed. Then in the next case we place the spherical particle in a quiescent fluid, and in this case the particle will settle and translate only in the vertical direction, and it has a zero horizontal component of a velocity. If we place an anisotropic particle in a quiescent fluid, here the rate of change of orientation will be zero, which means that whatever the initial orientation is, it will remain at that orientation, and it will translate in both direction, in x and z direction, which depends on the initial orientation here. Then we ask a question, what happens if we place a heavier particle in a wavy flow field? So in this condition, the contribution to the velocity of a particle is coming from the flow field velocity and the settling velocity, and the contribution to the orientation is coming from the flow field here, wavy field here. So in this case, depending on the order of the settling number compared to the epsilon, we can use the regular perturbation technique for a finite Stokes, for a finite settling number. So first we calculated the orientation of a heavier particle, and it has a two regime. When the particle is at the interface, it will experience some wavy effect, and therefore the orientation will increase in an oscillatory manner. But as the time passes, particle will also settles, and it will less likely to get affected by the wavy flow field, and there the particle will attain some steady orientation. So this steady orientation, unlike a neutrally bound case, is a non-oscillatory in nature and depends on several factors. So by using the regular perturbation technique, we found this steady orientation, and it depends on the initial condition, shape of the particle, settling number, and the Butterton constant here. Now this steady orientation have a different regime based on the settling number. So when my settling number is very large, the steady orientation can be captured by the zeroth order of regular perturbation technique. When I decrease my settling number, then at an intermediate value of settling number, the orientation dynamics can be captured by this first order term in the regular perturbation technique, and this variation depends on the shape of the particle as well as the initial orientation here. For a lower value of settling number, the regular perturbation expansion can able to capture this dynamics of orientation dynamics at a lower value of settling number. But at a negligible value of settling number, the orientation can be given by the fixed point, which is depend only on the shape of the particle, which means that whatever the initial condition you have, the orientation will have, the particle will have a single steady orientation, which only if you keep fix the shape of the particle. Now, since the translation and orientation are the coupled problem, by using the regular perturbation technique, we study the horizontal translation motion, and we found that at infinite times, the horizontal translation motion is unbounded, which means that particle keep translating in the horizontal direction. Then we found the wave average horizontal velocity, and at a leading order, it depends on the settling number, shape of the anisotropy of the particle, and the orientation of a particle. And to show how they are coupled, one way is to calculate the trajectory of a particle, because it depends on the orientation and the translation. So here I am showing the dispersion of a particle for both prolate and oblate case. So first I place the particle at time t equals 0. I randomize the initial location of a particle and the initial orientation, which I show by this color bar here. Then I found the dispersion of a particle at time t equals 2000, and we found that the dispersion of a particle depends on the initial orientation. So for example, a particle with initial orientation close to 90 settles less comparatively at a given instant of time when compared with a particle with initial orientation close to 0. Moreover, the particle when it have an initial orientation close to 45 degree, it translates more against the wave propagation direction. The opposite is true for an oblate particle, that it translates more against the wave propagation direction when the initial orientation is close to 45 degrees. So in conclusion, The dispersion of a particle depends on the initial orientation and the settling number and the shape of the particle. So in summary, we ask a question that how heavier particle translate in a wavy flow field. So it attains a steady orientation, which is different from the neutrally bound case, because the steady orientation is non-oscillatory and it depends on initial condition, settling number and the shape. Then it translates in both direction, against and along the wave propagation direction. And the translation is a coupled problem. It is coupled with an orientation. So orientation decides the direction of the particle. So in the end, I would like to acknowledge my research grant coming from PMRF. So thank you very much.
Yeah, very nice talk. So most of the trajectories that you showed are two-dimensional, right?
I cannot hear you. Can you?
So the trajectories that you showed are two-dimensional, right?
Yeah.
But you can also have, I mean, the thing that I'm trying to ask is, do you know if, depending on the geometry, it might or might not be stable along these trajectories to the third direction?
Yeah, if you consider the three-dimensional geometry, then the particle can move in the third direction as well. So we have not analyzed that in a three-dimensional case, but yeah, we can check about that.